The baby monitor glowed blue in the dark, casting a soft halo on the crib. I watched from the hallway, hands still damp from dishwater. He stirred, not crying, just cooing, like he was humming to himself. My son. Or so I thought. Ashley was in the kitchen, sipping her tea like it was wine, scrolling her phone with that fake soft smile she used when she thought no one was watching. She didn't hear me approach. She didn't hear the faint beep from her lock screen lighting up again and again. Same name. Same damn notification. Can't stop thinking about last night. I didn't react. I walked past her. The scent of her lotion trailed after me, lavender, like always, but this time it clung like a lie. I sat on the couch, phone in hand, pretending to scroll. Her voice followed. "You good?" she asked, casual. Too casual. I nodded. Yeah. She walked over and planted a kiss on my head. Soft. Practiced. Performed. Like everything else lately. Ashley and I had been married 3 years. Our son, Caleb, was 10 months old. At least, that's what I was supposed to believe. We'd met at a coffee shop near my office. She spilled espresso on her blouse, laughed, and I fell hard. She was charming, quick-witted, with those girl-next-door eyes that made you feel like you were the only person in the world. But over the last few months, something had shifted. She smiled less. Laughed even less than that. I chalked it up to stress, new baby, less sleep, the usual grind. But stress doesn't make you hide your phone like it's a grenade. The first crack wasn't the message. It was the eye color. Caleb's were green. Not hazel, not some weird shade of brown that could pass as ambiguous, bright, distinct green. Neither Ashley nor I have green eyes. Not even in the extended family. I asked once, casually, pretending to be curious. Her answer was instant. Must be a recessive gene, she said, without blinking. She blinked too fast when she lied. I started paying attention after that. Micro details. Her phone never left her side. Bathroom, laundry room, even when she showered. She'd set its screen down, mute always on. Notifications off. And the passwords, she changed them. Frequently. Even the fingerprint access stopped working for me one day. Weird glitch, she said, laughing it off. That laugh sounded like a door closing. I checked browser histories. Blank. Cleared. Her email. Locked. Her messages. Vanished. It wasn't paranoia. It was math. A lie told over time stops making sense. Ashley's timelines didn't add up anymore. One night, as she slept, I watched her breathing. Slow, rhythmic. Her hand rested over Caleb's baby monitor like she was guarding him. Or hiding him. My chest was still, but my mind buzzed. She said she was faithful. Said she loved me. But love doesn't delete its footprints. The next morning, I made coffee for both of us. Her favorite mug, the one with "World's Best Mom" in chipped blue letters. She looked at it like it stung. "You're quiet," she said. "Didn't sleep well," I lied. She nodded. "I get it." Caleb's teething. Caleb wasn't the reason I didn't sleep. She was. Her lies. Her shifting patterns. The way her body flinched when I touched her, like she was already somewhere else, with someone else. A cheating bitch in a stay-at-home disguise. She offered me a bite of her toast. I declined. Later that day, I bought a DNA kit. I didn't tell her. Didn't tell anyone. I just waited for the right moment. Collected a swab from Caleb's pacifier. Sealed it. Mailed it. No rage. No scene. Just a silent promise to myself, if she was lying, it wouldn't end with words. She always underestimated me. Thought I'd be the type to break down, cry, beg for truth. But I don't beg. I document. The DNA results were still days out, but I was already grieving something I couldn't name. Trust, maybe. Time. The version of my life I thought I was living. Every hour I spent in that house felt like a performance now, and Ashley. She was center stage. Smiling. laughing at sitcoms. Kissing me goodnight with lips that probably still tasted like someone else. She wore the lie like perfume. That Friday, we had dinner with her sister and brother-in-law. A casual thing. Backyard, burgers, the smell of propane and overcooked meat. Ashley clung to Caleb like she always did in public, all maternal glow and perfect posture. The moment her sister took the baby, Ashley's hand went straight to her phone. Scrolling, thumbs twitching, eyes darting. I watched. Said nothing. "Mark, you look tired," her sister said. "New dad life," I replied. Smile. Nod. Play the part. Later, as Ashley chatted with her brother-in-law by the fire pit, I stepped into the kitchen under the pretense of grabbing another drink. Her purse was on the counter. Unzipped. Phone peeking out like it wanted to be caught. I didn't touch it. I just stood there, staring at the shape of it under leather in silence. I didn't need her texts. I had something better coming. On the drive home, she asked if I was okay again. That voice, sugar-laced, concerned, too careful. Like she knew I'd noticed something, but not how much. "You've been distant." I shrugged. "Work's been rough." She nodded slowly, fingers tightening on the steering wheel. That subtle clench, fear dressed as casual concern. "Let me know if you want to talk," she said. Talk? No. I'd show her. At night, I started watching old videos. The ones from when she was pregnant. She looked happy. Too happy. And too alone. Most clips were selfie style, talking to Caleb like a diary. But one stood out, a 30-second clip I didn't remember taking. She was 6 months pregnant, filming herself in the nursery mirror. Behind her, the door cracked open, and a shadow moved across it. Definitely male. Definitely not me. I replayed it. Again and again. The next morning, I pulled open her calendar app on the iPad, the one she forgot synced to her email. Color-coded. Tidy. One recurring event caught my eye: wellness check, Tuesdays, 1:30 p.m. Always 2 hours long. Every week. Ashley didn't have a therapist. Not that I knew of. The next Tuesday, I faked a last-minute meeting at work and drove home instead. Parked down the block. Watched. She left at 1:20 p.m. Tight jeans. Light makeup. Not dressed like someone going to therapy. I followed. She drove to a small house in a cul-de-sac on the edge of town. Not an office. No signage. Just a black SUV already in the driveway. She knocked once. Door opened. A man stood there. Tall. Athletic. No hesitation, he pulled her in like it was a routine. She kissed him like she missed it. Not therapy. Not wellness. Just betrayal, dressed in the hours I trusted her most. I didn't confront her. I didn't honk or scream or pull her out by the hair. I just watched from behind a tinted windshield as the bitch who swore I was her forever sank into another man's arms like it was home. That night, I came home before her. Fed Caleb. Changed him. Held him for longer than usual. His green eyes blinked up at me, wide and curious. I whispered, "Who's your father, kid?" He gurgled, innocent. Oblivious. Ashley came in an hour later, humming. "Sorry," she said, setting her bag down. "Traffic." I nodded. "No problem." She walked over and kissed my cheek. "You're such a good dad," she whispered. It wasn't a compliment. It was a goddamn knife. I tucked Caleb in. Read him the same story as always. Good night, Moon. My voice cracked halfway through, but I finished it. Rituals matter, even when everything else is falling apart. Ashley curled beside me in bed that night, resting her head on my chest like nothing was broken. Like the poison in her mouth hadn't seeped into the bones of this house. As she drifted off, I stared at the ceiling. I wasn't angry anymore. Just precise. She had no idea the net was already around her throat. Ashley always said the little things mattered most. So I started watching the little things. The way she stirred her tea 3 times before tasting it. How she locked the bathroom door now, even for a 5-minute shower. The way she hesitated before saying "I love you," like she had to remember who she was supposed to be. On Thursday, she asked if we could have a check-in night. That was her new thing, relationship rituals pulled from therapy blogs. She lit candles. Played soft jazz. Poured wine. Sat on the couch cross-legged in a sweater 2 sizes too big, like vulnerability was something you could buy from Anthropology. "Let's talk," she said. I nodded. Let her lead. She leaned in. "I know you've been distant. Here it comes. I just want to make sure we're okay." I sipped my wine. Looked her in the eye. "Are we?" She blinked. Laughed, softly. "Well, that's why I'm asking." She kept touching my hand during that conversation. Not holding, touching. A kind of nervous tethering. Like she needed to control the temperature of my silence. Like she sensed what I wasn't saying and wanted to wrap her fingers around it before it cracked open. I asked her about therapy. Casual tone. Measured. "You still seeing someone?" She tilted her head, confused for half a second too long. "Yeah, on Tuesdays." "You know that." I nodded. "Same time each week?" She smiled, thin and slow. "Yeah." "How's it going?" "Good," she said. "Hard, but good." The pause between hard and good was microscopic, but I caught it. That's where the lie sat, curled and comfortable. She asked if I wanted to go with her sometime. A challenge masked as an olive branch. I said, maybe. She leaned in again. "I love you, Mark. I know I haven't said it enough." That was the moment I saw it clearly. This wasn't guilt. It was management. She wasn't fixing us, she was maintaining the illusion until whatever plan she'd built with that other man was ready. I didn't react. I just leaned back and said, "I love you too." Liar for liar. The next morning, I started printing things. Not texts, I didn't have access. But phone logs, calendar entries, photos. I dug into the backups she didn't know were still connected to our shared cloud. Scraps and fragments, geotags that didn't match where she said she was, timestamps that clashed with her calendar. One photo almost broke me, Ashley, smiling with Caleb in the park. The date matched one of her therapy appointments. Behind her, just barely visible, the edge of a man's arm. Tan. Veined. Familiar from the cul-de-sac house. I looked closer. The watch on his wrist was the same one I saw when he opened the door. No name yet. No face. But the edges of him were starting to take shape. And then came the earrings. Tiny gold studs. New. I hadn't seen her wear them before. She claimed they were a gift from her sister. But I found the receipt in the trash under a takeout bag, boutique store, paid in cash, not her usual spot. And they came with a note, in a woman's handwriting. "You looked stunning last night. Wear these next time." My chest went cold. Not rage. Not sadness. Just cold. Because now I knew she wasn't just cheating physically, she was enmeshed. Deep. Secret gifts, scheduled lies, emotional layers she never gave me. I left the note on her nightstand. Didn't say a word. Let her find it. That night, she came to bed silent. No touch. No, "I love you." She didn't ask where the note came from. She didn't admit anything. She just slid under the covers and turned away. The silence wasn't awkward. It was tactical. She was calculating how much I knew, and how much she could still hide. The next morning, I made her breakfast. French toast, strawberries, fresh coffee. "Wow," she said. "What's the occasion?" "Just felt like doing something nice." She smiled, wary. Kissed my cheek. Sat down. She took a bite. MMM. I watched her chew. "Still going to therapy today?" A pause. "Yeah." "What time again?" She hesitated. 1:30. "Right." I sipped my coffee. She didn't finish hers. The cracks were spreading. Fast. I called out sick that day. Sat in my car down the block again. Same cul-de-sac. Same black SUV in the driveway. She went inside. Only this time, she stayed for 3 hours. 3 hours inside that house. I didn't move. Didn't eat. Barely blinked. I watched the sun shift shadows across my dashboard and listened to a podcast I couldn't process. All I could see was that black SUV, the closed door, and the woman I once thought was mine wrapped in silence behind it. At 4:32 p.m., she came out. Hair messy. Sweater clutched over her chest. That post-orgasm daze some men mistake for love. She didn't even check her surroundings. She just walked to her car, smiled at her phone, and drove off. I followed at a distance, turning off a block before she got home. I took side streets. Gave her time to settle back into the role she'd built for me: husband, father, furniture. When I came through the door, she was already in the kitchen, heating up leftovers. Like she'd been there all day. Like she hadn't just fucked someone else hours earlier. "How was your day?" she asked. "Productive," I said. She smiled. "Mine too." Then, just for a second, she looked nervous. Like she was testing the air for something wrong. I said nothing. Gave her nothing. That night, I pretended to be too tired for sex. Her hand on my chest was light, testing. I turned away. "Long day," I muttered. "Okay," she said, too quickly. She didn't try again. Instead, she got up in the dark and walked to Caleb's room, like she needed to remind herself what she was supposed to protect. I listened to her over the baby monitor, whispering lullabies with shaky breath. A cheating bitch, trying to patch cracks in the dark. Over the next few days, I laid low. Watched her patterns. Tracked the lies. She called him once when she thought I was asleep. Whispered into her phone from the hallway, voice thin and intimate. "No, he doesn't know. Yeah, he's been distant, but I think he's just tired. I love you too. I love you too." That was the only time I felt my fingers curl. I gripped the sheets, breathed through it. No explosions. Just data. I started digging harder. Got a friend in IT to help me clone her backup without raising alerts. Within 48 hours, I had access to her old synced photo library, autosaved screenshots, blurred selfies, WhatsApp previews. That's when the full picture started forming. His name was Derek. Met at her prenatal yoga class. He was a mindfulness coach, whatever the hell that meant. Divorced, no kids, a regular at the juice bar near her gym. Their first messages were flirtatious. Jokes. Little pokes at boredom. But by the 3rd month of pregnancy, it wasn't flirting. It was planning. In one message she'd written, "Sometimes I think this baby would have been better off yours." He'd responded, "We still have time to build something real." That message was from before Caleb was born. Before she ever told me he was mine. I sat with that for a while. Let it calcify. Because that was the confirmation I needed. This wasn't an accident. Not a one-time slip. This was a full betrayal, structural, deliberate. The bitch gave another man my role, then handed me the mask and told me to smile. I printed everything. Photos. Texts. Call logs. Message threads spanning a year. I bought a fireproof lockbox and stored it all inside. Along with the pending DNA results, now expected within 48 hours. 2 more days, and I'd know whether I'd spent a year fathering someone else's child. That weekend, her parents came over. Ashley flipped back into perfect daughter mode, cheerful, attentive, bragging about Caleb's new milestones. I watched her butter her mother's toast like she was still 10 years old. Laughing at old stories. Flirting with innocence. She kissed me on the cheek when they left. Her mother smiled. "You two are just solid," she said. Ashley nodded. "We've been through a lot. But we're stronger now." Stronger. Right. Later that night, she climbed into my lap, arms around my neck. "Let's get away soon," she whispered. "Just the two of us. You and me. Reconnect." I kissed her. said yes. She tasted like wine and lies. I held her just long enough to make sure she believed me. Because reconnection was coming. But not the way she imagined. The DNA results arrived on a Wednesday morning, 9:12 a.m. sharp. The email subject line was simple. Your results are ready. I opened it alone, sitting in my car in the office parking garage. Engine off. Doors locked. Silence thick enough to smother. My hands didn't shake. I clicked through the login, entered the password I'd used only once. The screen loaded slow, deliberate, like it already knew it was about to change everything. Probability of paternity, 0%. 0. Not 98, not 75. 0. The baby I rocked to sleep every night, whose name I helped choose, whose lullabies I memorized, not mine. Not even close. Caleb's father was someone else. And I knew exactly who. Derek. The yoga fraud. The mindfulness fuckboy who sold snake oil wisdom to women who wanted permission to cheat. My vision didn't blur. I didn't cry. I just sat there, breathing. Cold, focused. I forwarded the results to a burner email. Then I closed the app and texted Ashley. Me, thinking lunch together today. My treat. Just us. Ashley, yes. You okay? Me, better than I've felt in a while. She sent a heart emoji. I stared at it for a full minute. Then I opened my files. Compiled everything into a single folder, labeled it Truth. Inside, the screenshots, messages, photos, calendar logs, and now the DNA result. I sent a copy to a private cloud server under a dummy name. Then I called my lawyer. We'd spoken before, prenup consultation back when Ashley and I were still engaged. At the time, she called it paranoid. I called it cautious. Turned out, cautious ages well. Is it time, he asked, when I told him who I was. It's time. We talked for 30 minutes. Come. Surgical. I asked questions I never imagined I'd need, custody options for a child that wasn't mine, legal implications of infidelity, asset protection. He gave me steps. I wrote them down. Then I made 3 copies of everything on physical USBs. One for me. One for the lawyer. One for what would come next. At lunch, Ashley wore white. Always with the symbolism. We sat at a small cafe near her old campus. She ordered avocado toast and a smoothie. Smiled like we were still 19 and falling in love over cheap beer and borrowed dreams. This is nice, she said. Feels like us again. I watched her cut her toast. Her hands moved slow. Controlled. I said, you ever think about how fast trust dies? She paused. What? I smiled. Just a thought. She tilted her head. You okay? I'm good. Really good. Her eyes flickered, unsure. She laughed softly. You're weird today. I'm just clear. We didn't talk much after that. She asked about work. I lied. She said she was proud of me. I let her say it. Every word she offered sounded like a eulogy to a marriage she didn't realize was already buried. When we got home, I handed her Caleb. He reached for her with those damn green eyes. She kissed his cheek and carried him to the nursery, humming again. That night, she wore lingerie. First time in weeks. Thought we could reconnect, she said. I kissed her. Let my hands linger just enough. Then I said I was tired. Her face fell for a split second before the smile returned. Rain check, I added. She nodded. Of course. The next morning, I called her best friend, Tara. We hadn't spoken in weeks. She answered like I was a surprise. Hey, Mark. Tara, can I ask you something? A pause. Sure. Did you know about Derek? Silence. Long, heavy. Mark, I don't think it's my place. So you did. I didn't know, no. I just had suspicions. How long? More silence. She told me she met someone when she was pregnant. Said it was complicated. I told her to cut it off. She didn't. I know. Why didn't you say anything? I didn't want to blow up your family. I thought she'd stop. She didn't. Click. I didn't hang up in anger. I hung up in confirmation. Even her best friend had been complicit. Silent allies. Passive cowards. Watching me raise another man's child while they said nothing. I opened the shared calendar app we'd stopped using and added a new event for Saturday afternoon. Title, Truth Session. Invitees, Ashley. And Derek. Yes, him too. Time to orchestrate the truth. Saturday came fast. Ashley thought we were going out of town, some last-minute reconnection getaway I had dangled in front of her during dinner earlier that week. She'd even packed a bag. Wore makeup. Sprayed on the perfume she hadn't touched since Caleb was born. You're being mysterious, she said, smiling, suitcase by her side. I kissed her forehead. It's a surprise. She didn't see the folder in my backpack. The USB in my pocket. The second phone I'd used to text Derek the address. Come alone. 2 p.m. You owe her this. He responded. Who is this? I replied. The men raising your son. No reply after that. But I knew he'd come. Men like Derek can't resist the sound of a mask falling off. The place was a rented private office suite I'd secured for the weekend, neutral, clean, no distractions. Just a round table, 3 chairs, and a small speaker on the wall playing ambient noise. We arrived at 1:45. Ashley looked around, confused. What is this? I unlocked the door. Just trust me. She walked in slow. Sat down. I poured her a glass of water. Took a seat across from her. Left the third chair empty. She noticed. Who else is coming? Someone important. Her fingers tightened around the glass. Mark, what is this? I pulled the folder from my bag. Set it on the table. Let's wait a few more minutes. She stared at it like it might explode. At 2:01 p.m., the door opened. Derek walked in. Button-down shirt, calm eyes, not a single trace of guilt. He looked at Ashley first. Then at me. You're Mark, he said. I didn't stand. Didn't nod. Ashley's breath hitched. What the fuck is he doing here? Sit, I said to Derek. He did. Ashley stood. No. Absolutely not. This is insane. I opened the folder. Slid the top paper toward her. The DNA result. Her eyes darted across it. She didn't read it, she scanned it, desperately, like maybe the words would rearrange if she blinked hard enough. Then her lips parted. Mark. I didn't speak. I slid the next item, the screenshot of her message to Derek, the one about Caleb being better off his. Another. The calendar logs. Geotags. Photos. The note from the earrings. By the time I was done, the table looked like a crime scene. Ashley sank back into her chair. Please, she whispered. Let me explain. You've had a year to explain, I said. Derek shifted in his seat. Look, I didn't. Don't speak, I cut in. My voice was ice. Ashley turned to him. Why did you come? I thought you were in danger or something. I laughed once. Sharp. She turned back to me. Mark, I didn't mean for this to happen. You never do. That's the thing with liars. I was confused. I was pregnant. You were distant. Don't. I didn't know if you even wanted the baby. I stood. Walked to the door. Locked it. Ashley flinched. What are you doing? I turned. Looked them both in the eye. You two built a story behind my back. Plotted in whispers. Turned my home into a stage. You thought I'd never see the seams. Thought I'd break down, maybe beg. Neither spoke. I reached into my bag and pulled out the USB. I've made copies. Legal, backed up, and ready to deploy. Ashley's face drained of color. Deploy. You don't know everything about me, Ashley. You never did. While you were busy playing house with him, I was preparing my exit. Every bank account, every document, every file, locked down. Derek stood. This is getting out of hand. Sit. Or I call the cops and show them a year's worth of you stalking my wife while she was pregnant with a child you helped plant. He sat. Ashley whispered, "What do you want?" I want nothing. That's the beauty of this. I slid a second envelope toward her. Inside is a separation agreement. Clean. Quiet. No contest. You sign it, you keep your car, your clothes, and a monthly stipend until you get a job. Her hands trembled. What about Caleb? I'll take care of him financially until you two figure out who's actually going to raise him. Her voice cracked. He thinks you're his father. He's 10 months old. He won't remember me. But, he loves you. I looked at her for the last time with anything resembling softness. No. You needed me to love him. Because it made your lie real. I walked to the door. Unlocked it. Opened it. You have until Monday to sign everything. After that, the files go public, to your parents, your job references, the custody courts. Derek's ex-wife gets a copy too. Derek stood again. This time slower. Ashley didn't. She just stared at the papers in front of her, mouth open, silent, caught between pleading and disbelief. I walked out without another word. Monday morning, 8:02 a.m., I got the email. Subject, signed agreement. No body text. Just an attachment. PDF. Neat. Clean. Her signature scrawled across the bottom in tight, shaky strokes. Like she knew exactly what she was surrendering. I opened it once, confirmed everything was in place, then sent it to my lawyer with the subject line. Execute immediately. That same hour, the locks on the house were changed. Not because I thought she'd try to break in, but because I needed to make it real. The same hands that unlocked my front door and touched another man wouldn't be turning my doorknob again. Ashley was at her sister's, or so Tara had told me. She hadn't even tried to argue the agreement. No begging. No sob story. Maybe she knew it was over. Maybe Derek was promising her new dreams. Or maybe the weight of everything finally dragged her beneath it. Didn't matter. The mail arrived just after noon. I stood in the driveway holding a manila envelope, addressed to me, handwritten, familiar loops. From her. I didn't open it. Just dropped it into the shredder with the rest of the junk. At 2 p.m., I arrived at the HR building of her nonprofit. I'd booked a meeting under a different name, said I was a donor. The front desk buzzed her. She'll be right out, the assistant chirped. I sat. Waited. 3 minutes later, Ashley walked into the lobby, blazer crisp, hair pinned. She hadn't seen me yet. She smiled politely toward the receptionist. That smile dropped the second she saw me. Her mouth opened. Before she could speak, I stood, walked to the receptionist, and handed over a plain white envelope. To be opened by HR only, I said. Ashley's voice cracked. Mark, what are you doing? I looked her in the eye. No malice. Just the weight of the consequence she never expected. You signed it, I said quietly. That included the clause. She paled. You said this was going to be clean. It is. But transparency's part of it. Inside that envelope, a copy of the signed agreement, including the infidelity clause, the one she overlooked. Plus select excerpts of the affair timeline. Just enough to show HR why she'd be stepping down as Family Services Director by end of day. Please, she said. Don't do this here. I didn't answer. I just walked out. She didn't follow. 2 hours later, Tara called. Her voice was shaking. You torched her job. She lit the match. I just opened the window. You said you weren't going nuclear. No. I said I wasn't starting nuclear. Click. That night, I picked up Caleb for the last time. Not as his father. Just the man who'd been used to keep her lie alive. He looked at me like he always had, curious, quiet, trusting. My chest cracked open, but I didn't show it. I whispered goodbye, pressed my lips to his forehead, and handed him to Ashley's sister without a word. She didn't ask questions. Tara had told her everything. By Tuesday, Derek's name had been tagged across social media, a few curious friends, then a post from his ex-wife. Turns out, she'd seen the files I sent. And she had receipts of her own. He'd cheated on her the same month Ashley got pregnant. By Wednesday, he'd deleted every account. By Friday, I had full legal separation, financial control of all shared assets, and a notarized waiver from Ashley, no claim to the house, no claim to Caleb. She'd gone dark. No calls. No messages. Just absence. Exactly what I needed. That weekend, I cleaned the house top to bottom. Her perfume still lingered in the closet. Her hairbrush was still on the sink. But the wedding photo? Gone. The nursery? Empty. I stripped it bare. Not out of hate. Out of precision. The same kind she never thought I had. The baby monitor sat in a drawer, screen black, sound off. I hadn't touched it in a week, but I couldn't bring myself to throw it away. Not yet. Every night, I walked past the empty nursery. I kept the door open on purpose. Let the silence echo. I wanted to remember what it felt like, that kind of quiet. The kind that follows a lie when it finally shuts its mouth. Ashley had gone silent too. No texts. No apologies. No long, desperate emails asking for another chance. Not even rage. She'd signed away everything, stepped down from her job, and disappeared into the soft shadow of her sister's house. A woman who used to run the show now couldn't show her face. That was by design. Derek hadn't resurfaced. His social accounts vanished. The yoga studio he worked at issued a vague statement about internal restructuring and quietly scrubbed him from their website. It was almost too easy. Like tearing down cardboard villains. But then came the last piece, the one I'd saved. Ashley's therapy group. It wasn't real therapy. It was a women's circle hosted by a licensed coach named Marla Jameson, part spiritual healer, part marriage realignment expert. Ashley had mentioned her once or twice, usually after a session where she came home smug, saying things like, "Everyone defines love differently," or, "You can't be responsible for someone else's expectations." I dug deeper. Marla wasn't just a sounding board, she'd actively encouraged Ashley to explore her needs. Pushed her toward honesty and desire. I found the transcripts. Ashley had saved voice notes from the group in her iCloud. Hours of recordings. And in one, Marla said this. Sometimes, the right thing for a woman is to let herself be mothered by the man who feels most like her future, not the one who just happened to marry her past. Ashley had laughed in the background. They'd weaponized therapy to frame betrayal as growth. So I sent the voice clips, all of them, to the wives of every woman in that group I could identify. One of them was already divorced. 2 were still married. 1 worked at the county office in child services. I made sure to include a copy of Marla's pseudo-credentials and the lawsuit pending against her in another state, ethical boundary violations, misuse of professional titles, unlicensed medical advice. I wasn't out for blood. I was out for clarity. When you expose a snake nest, you don't just step on one, you burn the whole damn ground. Sunday morning, I drove to the beach. The one where Ashley and I used to go before Caleb. Before all of it. I parked, walked to the rocks, sat for an hour. Didn't think. Didn't reminisce. Just watched the water move. My phone buzzed at 10:24 a.m. A number I didn't recognize. I let it ring out. A minute later, a voicemail. I listened. It was Ashley. Her voice low, frayed. I signed because I had to. Not because I don't care. Not because I didn't love you, but because I knew what you'd do to me if I didn't. You always said you were calm. I didn't know calm could be this cold. I'm sorry. That's all. Just. I'm sorry. I deleted it. That night, I stood in the doorway of Caleb's old room one last time. The walls were bare. No crib. No toys. Just sunlight slicing across the carpet like a curtain that forgot how to close. I shut the door. Locked it. The next morning, I met with my realtor. House listing goes up in 3 days. Cash buyers only. No tours. Just exit. Clean. Controlled. Final. Ashley thought this would end in chaos, a screaming match, a custody war, a broken man shattered across weekends and shared holidays. But that's the thing. She never really knew me. She married who I was. Not who I could become when cornered. Now. She was just the ghost in a house that no longer belonged to her. I moved out 2 weeks later. Didn't tell anyone. Didn't post. No photos. No goodbyes. The movers came at dawn, quiet, efficient, no small talk. I packed what I needed, my books, my tools, one photo of me as a kid, and a jacket my father left me before he passed. Everything else. Donated or trashed. The last thing I touched was the thermostat. Ashley always kept it at 72, said it felt like the right kind of warm. I set it to 58 before I left. Cold. Just enough to remind the walls no one lived there anymore. The new place was small. Unfurnished. White walls, concrete floors, clean lines. No baby gates. No framed ultrasound photos. No scent of lavender wafting out of a bathroom she used to steam herself in. Just space. I didn't tell Tara I was gone. Didn't respond when her name popped up again a week later, just a string of messages, long and clumsy. She's not okay. She misses you. It wasn't all a lie, Mark. I deleted them unread. Ashley never tried again. Not really. That voicemail was her final move, the last card she had. And even that felt like it was played for her own closure, not mine. 3 weeks after I vanished, I heard she'd put Caleb in full-time daycare and taken a job at a boutique downtown. PR assistant. Same title she had before the marriage. Like she'd been rewound back to the moment before she broke anything. I wondered if she told people she was divorced. I wondered if she told them why. But then I'd remember her face at that table, when Derek walked in and the lies started to collapse under their own weight. That wasn't the face of a woman rewriting her story. That was the face of someone who finally heard the truth spoken aloud. I changed my number a month in. Updated my documents. Froze all joint accounts. Cut her name from every emergency contact list. I wasn't angry. Just methodical. Cutting the last thread isn't an act of violence. It's maintenance. I kept the DNA file. One hard copy, locked in a safe. Not because I needed proof anymore, but because if Caleb ever found me years from now, asking questions, I wanted to be ready. I'd tell him the truth. That I loved him for a while. That I cared for him like a father should. But that biology drew a line I couldn't cross forever. He deserved the men who made him, or at least the truth about who that man was. Me. I was just the shadow that held him while his mother played house with lies. Some nights, I hear the phantom sound of his cry. But it fades. Everything fades, if you let it. I started running again. Mornings, before the sun climbs high enough to blind you. It's the only time the world feels honest, when your breath is your own, and the ground doesn't lie. One morning, I passed a father with a stroller. He smiled at me. I nodded back. Didn't stop. Didn't flinch. Just kept moving. Because this story wasn't about redemption. It was about subtraction. And when you take away everything that was never real, all you're left with is peace.